Part 4 of The Real Mother Goose. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. This reading by Allison Hester of Athens, Georgia. The Real Mother Goose by Anonymous. Part 4. The Old Woman and the Peddler. There was an old woman, as I've heard tell. She went to the market her eggs for to sell. She went to the market all on a market day, and she fell asleep on the king's highway. There came by a peddler whose name was Stout. He cut her petticoats all round about. He cut her petticoats up to the knees, which made the old woman to shiver and freeze. When the little old woman did first awake, she began to shiver and she began to shake. She began to wonder and she began to cry, "Lauk a mercy on me, this can't be I. But if it be I, as I hope it be, I've a little dog at home and he'll know me. If it be I, he'll wag his tail, and if it be not I, he'll loudly bark and wail." Home went the little woman, all in the dark. Up got the little dog, and he began to bark. He began to bark, so she began to cry, "Lauk a mercy on me, this is none of I." End of The Old Woman and the Peddler. Little Jenny Wren. Little Jenny Wren fell sick upon a time. In came Robin Redbreast and brought her cake and wine. "Eat well of my cake, Jenny, drink well of my wine." "Thank you, Robin, kindly, you shall be mine." Jenny got well and stood upon her feet, and told Robin plainly she loved him not a bit. Robin, being angry, hopped upon a twig, saying, "Out upon you, fie upon you, bold-faced jig." End of Little Jenny Wren. The Little Moppet. I had a little moppet, and put it in my pocket, and fed it with corn and hay. There came a proud beggar, and swore he should have her, and stole my little moppet away. End of the Little Moppet. Bobby Snooks. Little Bobby Snooks was fond of his books, and loved by his usher and master. But naughty Jack Spry, he got a black eye, and carries his nose in a plaster. End of Bobby Snooks. The Man in the Moon. The man in the moon came tumbling down, and asked which way to Norwich. He went by the south, and burnt his mouth with eating cold peas porridge. End of The Man in the Moon. I saw a ship a-sailing. I saw a ship a-sailing on the sea, and oh, it was laden with pretty things for thee. There were comfits in the cabin, and apples in the hold, and sails were made of silk, and the masts were made of gold. The 24 sailors that stood between the decks were 24 white mice with chains about their necks. The captain was a duck with his packet on his back. And when the ship began to move, the captain said, "Quack, quack." End of I saw a ship a-sailing. A walnut. As soft as silk, as white as milk, as bitter as a gall, a strong wall, and a green coat covers me all. End of A Walnut. One he loves. One he loves, two he loves, three he loves, they say. 4 he loves with all his heart, 5 he casts away. 6 he loves, 7 she loves, 8 they both love. 9 he comes, 10 he tarries, 11 he courts, 12 he marries. End of One he loves. Bat, bat. Bat, bat, come under my hat, and I'll give you a slice of bacon. And when I bake, I'll give you a cake, if I am not mistaken. End of Bat, bat. My love. Saw ye aught of my love a coming from the market? A peck of meal upon her back, a baby in her basket? Saw ye aught of my love a coming from the market? End of my love. The Man of Bombay. There was a fat man of Bombay, who was smoking one sunshiny day, when a bird called a snipe flew away with his pipe, which vexed the fat man of Bombay. End of the Man of Bombay. Hark, hark. Hark, hark, the dogs do bark. Beggars are coming to town, some in jags, and some in rags, and some in velvet gown. End of Hark, hark. The Hart. The hart he loves the high wood, the hare she loves the hill, the knight he loves his bright sword, the lady loves her will. End of the Hart. Poor old Robinson Crusoe. Poor old Robinson Crusoe, poor old Robinson Crusoe, they made him a coat of an old nanny goat. I wonder why they should do so. With a ring-a-ting-a-tang and a ring-a-ting-a-tang, poor old Robinson Crusoe. End of Poor Old Robinson Crusoe. My maid Mary. My maid Mary, she minds the dairy, while I go a-hoeing and a-mowing each morn. Gaily run the reel and the little spinning wheel, while I am singing and mowing my corn. End of My Maid Mary. A sieve. A riddle, as I suppose, 100 eyes and never a nose. End of A sieve. A difficult rhyme. What is the rhyme for porringer? The king he had a daughter fair, and gave the Prince of Orange her. End of A difficult rhyme. Pretty John Watts. Pretty John Watts, we are troubled with rats. Will you drive them out of the house? We have mice too, in plenty, that feast in the pantry. But let them stay, and nibble away. What harm in a little brown mouse? End of Pretty John Watts. Good advice. Come when you're called, do what you're bid, shut the door after you, and never be chid. End of Good advice. Buy baby bunting. Buy baby bunting, father's gone a-hunting, mother's gone a-milking, sister's gone a-silking, and brother's gone to buy a skin to wrap the baby bunting in. End of Buy baby bunting. Tom, Tom, the piper's son. Tom, Tom, the piper's son, stole a pig, and away he run. The pig was eat, and Tom was beat, and Tom ran crying down the street. End of Tom, Tom, the piper's son. I love sixpence. I love sixpence, a jolly, jolly sixpence. I love sixpence as my life. I spent a penny of it, I spent a penny of it. I took a penny home to my wife. Oh, my little fourpence, a jolly, jolly fourpence. I love fourpence as my life. I spent 2 pence of it, I spent 2 pence of it, and I took 2 pence home to my wife. End of I love sixpence. Comical folk. In a cottage in Fife lived a man and his wife, who, believe me, were comical folk. For to people's surprise, they both saw with their eyes, and their tongues moved whenever they spoke. When they were asleep, I'm told that to keep their eyes open they could not contrive. They both walked on their feet, and 'twas thought what they eat helped with drinking to keep them alive. End of Comical Folk. Cock crow. Cocks crow in the morn to tell us to rise, and he who lies late will never be wise. For early to bed and early to rise is the way to be healthy and wealthy and wise. End of Cock crow. The 3 sons. There was an old woman had 3 sons, Jerry and James and John. Jerry was hanged and James was drowned. John was lost and was never found. And there was an end of her 3 sons, Jerry and James and John. End of The Three Sons. Tommy Snooks. As Tommy Snooks and Bessie Brooks were walking out one Sunday, says Tommy Snooks to Bessie Brooks, "Wilt marry me on Monday?" End of Tommy Snooks. The Blacksmith. "Robert Barnes, my fellow fine, can you shoe this horse of mine?" "Yes, good sir, that I can, as well as any other man. There's a nail and there's a prod. Now, good sir, your horse is shod." End of The Blacksmith. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. 3, 4, knock at the door. 5, 6, pick up sticks. 7, 8, lay them straight. 9, 10, a good fat hen. 11, 12, dig and delve. 13, 14, maids a-courting. 15, 16, maids in the kitchen. 17, 18, maids a-waiting. 19, 20, my plate's empty. End of 1, 2, buckle my shoe. 2 Gray Kits. The 2 gray kits and the gray kit's mother all went over the bridge together. The bridge broke down, they all fell in. "May the rats go with you," says Tom Bolin. End of 2 Gray Kits. Pairs or Pairs. 12 pairs hanging high, 12 knights riding by. Each knight took a pair, and yet left a dozen there. End of Pairs or Pairs. Belle Isle. At the siege of Belle Isle, I was there all the while, all the while, all the while, at the siege of Belle Isle. End of Belle Isle. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Cock-a-doodle-doo, my dame has lost her shoe. My master's lost his fiddlestick, and knows not what to do. Cock-a-doodle-doo, what is my dame to do? Till master finds his fiddlestick, she'll dance without her shoe. End of Cock-a-doodle-doo. Old King Cole. Old King Cole was a merry old soul, and a merry old soul was he. He called for his pipe, and he called for his bowl, and he called for his fiddlers 3. And every fiddler he had a fine fiddle, and a very fine fiddle had he. Tweedledee, went the fiddlers. Oh, there's none so rare as can compare with King Cole and his fiddlers 3. End of Old King Cole. Pussy-cat Mew. Pussy-cat Mew jumped over a coal, and in her best petticoat burnt a great hole. Poor pussy's weeping, she'll have no more milk, until her best petticoat's mended with silk. End of Pussy-cat Mew. See, what shall I see? A horse's head where his tail should be. End of C. A well. As round as an apple, as deep as a cup, and all the king's horses can't fill it up. End of a well. Dapple Gray. I had a little pony, his name was Dapple Gray. I lent him to a lady to ride a mile away. She whipped him, she slashed him, she rode him through the mire. I would not lend my pony now for all the lady's hire. End of Dapple Gray. Coffee and Tea. Molly, my sister, and I fell out, and what do you think it was all about? She loved coffee, and I loved tea, and that was the reason we couldn't agree. End of Coffee and Tea. A Cock and Bull Story. The cock's on the housetop blowing his horn, the bull's in the barn a threshing of corn, the maids in the meadows are making of hay, the ducks in the river are swimming away. End of A Cock and Bull Story. The Little Girl with a Curl. There was a little girl who had a little curl right in the middle of her forehead. When she was good, she was very, very good, and when she was bad, she was horrid. End of The Little Girl with a Curl. For Baby. You shall have an apple, you shall have a plum, you shall have a rattle when papa comes home. End of For Baby. Dreams. Friday night's dream, on Saturday told, is sure to come true, be it never so old. End of dreams. Myself. As I walked by myself, and talked to myself, myself said unto me, Look to thyself, take care of thyself, for nobody cares for thee. I answered myself, and said to myself, in this self-same repartee, Look to thyself, or not look to thyself, the self-same thing will be. End of myself. Candle saving. To make your candles last for aye, you wives and maids, give earo. To put them out's the only way, says honest John Boldero. End of candle saving. Over the water. Over the water and over the sea, and over the water to Charlie. I'll have none of your nasty beef, nor I'll have none of your barley, but I'll have some of your very best flour to make a white cake for my Charlie. End of Over the Water. Fears and tears. Tommy's tears and Mary's fears will make them old before their years. End of Fears and Tears. The Kilkenny Cats. There were once 2 cats of Kilkenny. Each thought there was 1 cat too many. So they fought, and they fit, and they scratched, and they bit, till, excepting their nails, and the tips of their tails, instead of 2 cats, there weren't any. End of the Kilkenny Cats. A week of birthdays. Monday's child is fair of face. Tuesday's child is full of grace. Wednesday's child is full of woe. Thursday's child has far to go. Friday's child is loving and giving. Saturday's child works hard for its living. But the child that's born on the Sabbath day is bonny and blithe and good and gay. End of A Week of Birthdays. A chimney. Black within and red without, 4 corners round about. End of a chimney. Lady Bird. Lady bird, lady bird, fly away home. Your house is on fire, your children all gone, all but one, and her name is Anne, and she crept under the pudding pan. End of Lady Bird. Old Grimes. Old Grimes is dead, that good old man, we ne'er shall see him more. He used to wear a long brown coat, all buttoned down before. End of Old Grimes. Entery-mentory. Entery-mentory cuttery corn, apple seed and apple thorn, wire, briar, limber lock, 5 geese in a flock, sit and sing by a spring, O-U-T and in again. End of entery-mentory. The man who had naught. There was a man and he had naught, and robbers came to rob him. He crept up to the chimney pot, and then they thought they had him. But he got down on the other side, and then they could not find him. He ran 14 miles in 15 days, and never looked behind him. End of The Man Who Had Naught. The Tailors and the Snail. 24 tailors went to kill a snail. The best man among them durst not touch her tail. She put out her horns like a little calo cow. Run, tailors, run, or she'll kill you all in now. End of The Tailors and the Snail. Around the green gravel. Around the green gravel the grass grows green, and all the pretty maids are plain to be seen. Wash them with milk, and clothe them with silk, and write their names with a pen and ink. End of Around the Green Gravel. Caesar's Song. Bow, wow, wow. Whose dog art thou? Little Tom Tinker's dog. Bow, wow, wow. End of Caesar's Song. Billy, Billy. Billy, Billy, come and play while the sun shines bright as day. Yes, my Polly, so I will, for I love to please you still. Billy, Billy, have you seen Sam and Betsy on the green? Yes, my Paul, I saw them pass, skipping o'er the new mown grass. Billy, Billy, come along, and I will sing a pretty song. End of Billy, Billy. As I was going along. As I was going along, a-singing a comical song, the lane that I went was so long, and the song that I sang was so long, so I went singing along. End of As I was going along. Rock-a-bye baby. Rock-a-bye baby, thy cradle is green, father's a nobleman, mother's a queen, and Betty's a lady, and wears a gold ring, and Johnny's a drummer, and drums for the king. End of Rock-a-bye baby. The Man in the Wilderness. The man in the wilderness asked me how many strawberries grew in the sea. I answered him, as I thought good, as many as red herrings grew in the wood. End of The Man in the Wilderness. Hector Protector. Hector Protector was dressed all in green. Hector Protector was sent to the queen. The queen did not like him, no more did the king, so Hector Protector was sent back again. End of Hector Protector. End of Part 4 of The Real Mother Goose.